Hey everyone, this is LuckySevenDX, and welcome back to Let's Play Okamiden. In the last episode, we tried to stop Kurow from getting Orochi's blood, and we actually succeeded, but then he escaped through a time portal into the past. So we are now even more in the past. We're in the past of the past. And how far back in the past are we? Well, for those of you who know Okami, there's a time travel segment in there too. And you might recognize this character. The kind of looks like Mr. Orange, but his name's Mr. Fruit. And those of you who have played Okami now know, we are 100 years in the past when Orochi first reigned supreme before his return 100 years into the future of what's right now. We need to go back to the future. Oh, sci-fi references. But basically, Orochi is once again terrorizing Kamiki Village because this is 100 years ago and he wasn't defeated by the original Okami, which was the white dog Shiranui, as I believe it mentioned back in part 1. So all that history stuff, it really did matter because we're actually going back to relive history. So just like, the whole, it does kind of flush out a few things from the whole 100 years ago thing. We get a picture of Chibi without his stripes once again. He looks so adorable without his stripes. He looks so fearsome with his stripes, and he's a warrior dog. No, well, actually, technically we are. We are one of his kids. We're one of his grandkids, because I believe they mentioned grandkids. It's Shiranui, then Amaterasu, then Chibi Terasu. So I believe it is grandkids, even though it's 100 years in the future. 100 years plus. It's 100 years and 9 months. Oh man. But yeah, so they're trying to basically plant a sapling, blah blah blah, bring hope back into Kamiki Village, but they're failing pretty miserably. I guess we can take some time out of our busy schedules to help these people. However, that being said, we do need to get over to the Moon Cave and get to Orochi once more through the Moon Cave a second time, because we do need to stop. We need to stop Kurow from getting Orochi in this time period as well, and hopefully then he'll give up. Will we succeed? Will we fail? Well, it's gonna be quite a few episodes until we figure that out, because this section's kind of there's a lot of stuff to do 100 years ago, and unlike 9 months ago, we'll very soon actually in this village be able to access a warp point, so we can actually now time travel 100 years into the future whenever we want to, which is great because we actually do need to pick up some stuff from the village, including upgrade weapons. Probably should get the last of those ability scrolls, the cherry bomb 2, which I never got from forever ago, 20 episodes ago when I could have gotten it, but I just didn't want to waste the money on it because it's not really that important. Even though we're using cherry bomb right now, never really need two of them. There are some good items in here. Make sure, of course, okay, maybe masterpieces 9 months ago, I can accept that, but Isun masterpieces 100 years ago, he wasn't even born now. Why are there masterpieces back here? That makes no sense. They're in place. Oh, okay, maybe okay. So you could say, well, he left it here when you guys time traveled. There will be places here that we never went with Amaterasu and Isun back in Okami. So, but how do these exist? I don't know. Am I thinking too hard about this? Yes, I am. But whatever. What can you do? So he wants to plant the seed lane. I don't remember if we did. I feel like we covered this back in Okami and fixed this problem. But, I mean, it's not really said, obviously, whether this is before or after Amaterasu shows up 100 years in the past, so the whole timeline thing, I'm not sure if this is, before or after. It probably has something to do with the sapling, a way to tell, but I don't remember the details of Okami that well, so don't listen to me, because I really don't know what I'm talking about! But we're gonna go ahead and fix the sapling for a bit of praise. In fact, the last bit of praise I'll be showing, well, I'll show the praise, but I mean on the bottom screen, because you're going to see in a minute that we're going to basically fill up the bar, finally, once and for all, which is pretty awesome. So we will have officially reached max praise, because we already had max praise levels, but now we have a full level, so it's proof that we're at max praise levels. I don't even know. But we're going to bloom this thing, and a young Sakuya is born. Look at her. She is so freaking adorable with her large, dizzy eyes and her whole disoriented figure. And her cute little girlness. She's adorable. She is absolutely freaking adorable. Just like Chibi without his stripes. This is just the adorable episode. Look at Mr. Fruit. He's so adorable. Not really. But yeah, like I said, this praise will actually max out the bar if I remember correctly, and it does. So we are officially done. It's Shakuya, because you can't say her name right. It's so cute. It's so freaking cute. But that's just the way things go. So, I mean, Mr. Fruit's happy. So if Mr. Fruit's happy, we can clearly leave the village. So what we're going to do right now is head down here. And just for shits and giggles, because I like things to be pretty, I am actually going to bloom all the trees along the way. Because once again, there's going to be trees to bloom, just like there was back in the original Kamiki Village. And, I mean, I don't need the praise anymore, obviously. There's no reason for me to do this. But I want to, because the bloom trees are so pretty. I mean, if you want to really see these dead trees everywhere, it's just so depressing. This place doesn't want to be depressing. It needs happy trees, because happy trees make for a happy Lucky. So we'll go ahead and bloom all these. Luckily, we can do it 2 at a time, because I know the trick now. I don't know if I got that one. Please tell me I got that one. No, of course not. Whatever. We'll go ahead and just bloom this one normally. And, yeah, so, I mean, that's not going to take too much time. It's just, a few trees. Not too bad. It's kind of, like, very reminiscent of, episodes not too, like, way back at the beginning of the game, where we're just going through Kamiki Village, have a little bit of time out in Shinshu Field. It's like the beginning of the game, at the very end of the game. Because, I mean, this whole 100 years section is pretty much, I mean, I'm not going to say that's endgame yet, but it's getting pretty close to endgame. I mean, there's obviously going to be an endgame part that's like blatantly endgame, but we're really getting closer to the end of the game. I would say at this point maybe another 10, 15, not even 15. Actually, I'd say probably about 10 episodes. So we're getting, I mean, we're at like the 4th or 5th point. If this is a grade, we have a B. We'd have a B, probably a pretty solid B, because we're over 80% done the game, I would say. So things wrapping up. We saw Mrs. Fruit. She has a fruit in her head. We get this history scroll. Like I said, I'll be showing those off later. This dog, he's hurt. I feel so sad for the dog. And that's actually going to be a plot point, this whole Nazo thing and his dog. It actually will be a very minor plot point coming up in this episode. In fact, we're actually dealing with it in this episode. It is going to be story mandatory for reasons which we won't get into until next episode, unfortunately. Why am I talking about next episode? I'm not even halfway done with this first one. I don't even know. But, just like, back then with Kushi, such a fun name to say. I think it's Nami in this one is the 100 years ago version of Kushi, because everyone in the village has an ancestor of 100 years ago. The village does not increase or decrease. I think in the village it has a grand total of what? 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if you include the merchant people. I guess if you include Kuni, it's technically 8 now, but I don't know if you want. I mean, basically 7 or 8 people. This village is kind of lame. And a dog. It has 7 or 8 people and a dog. I don't know if I'd necessarily call that a village, but we're going to help Nami out, basically. If you need some extra praise, if you haven't gotten max praise yet, you can shoot a water spout straight through Chibi, which just seems rather awkward, and fill up this barrel for her, and that will get you a little bit of praise. She just, as she looks over, walks back, then turns around and talks to us. What, you need a little bit of distance? You don't like us all up in your face? We're not even looking at her. Kurow's like, I'm too badass to look at you. I already have my heart set on some scholar girl whose name I don't even know. Oh, Kurow. You so silly. I'm almost out of ink for once. That's actually... I only have like 2 uses of ink left and then I'm done. That's actually kind of funny. You don't normally see run out of ink, but I can fix that by going to that save point, which I will do right now, just for the sake of getting health back. So, now that we've done that, you do want to head into Nagi's house, because it's Nagi and Nami, which does not... Susanoo and Kushi did not sound nearly as cool as Nagi and Nami. That's just like... Their names are off by 1 letter. That's just... I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a whole story behind that. It has to be some sort of Japanese lore. But, Nagi... I mean, we have his armor with us, actually. That's kind of funny. We have your armor, dude. Kind of cool, but you see him wearing it there. Nagi does not really play any sort of significant role in... well, I guess he might, but, he really isn't that important in the grand scheme of things when it comes to this whole thing. So... Basically, you know, we're not gonna really need to bother him. Anyway, merchant stuff. I believe I forget. I wasn't looking, but I believe this merchant has the. Is it this one or is it a later one that starts selling the revenge slips for 10,000? So if you ever wanted to get one of those, and you don't have the one you got from. I believe the only one you get is the one from Masterpiece Part 1, or all the Masterpieces Part 1 stuff. But if you don't have one of those and for some reason you like them, you could buy them here. But I'm not going to because I don't really buy stuff. That's just not what I do. Anyways, moving on to Shinshu Field, we have this kid, who, as you might guess, is the kid who's missing. This is Nazo, who is scared because apparently, well, I guess his dog is sick. He needs an herb from a cave in Shinshu Field. Herbs near Shinshu Field. This game actually does sort of go into the whole precursor of Yakushi Village, which is pretty cool. So that village that, is just sort of sprouted up, we actually get a little bit of a look into, well, this place has herbs, blah, blah, and that's why there was a village built there eventually, 100 years into the future. Then again, it didn't exist in Okamiden, so apparently the whole, or Okami, the original Okami, Yakushi Village didn't exist, so the whole backstory behind it doesn't really make much sense, I suppose, in the end. Anyways, we get ourselves some spirit ink, and that's always cool. And then there's these guys. Make sure you fight these guys, because these are actually new enemies we haven't faced before. They're horse heads instead of the normal shitty things. And please hit the balls, because I don't want to get hit, and then I got hit. But we'll hit this one instead and kill one of them at least. This is kind of a little obnoxious. And then can we hit your ball this time? I don't know. No, for some reason these ones I always find so hard to hit, while the other ones I don't. I don't know if these enemies are different in some way. They only take one hit though, so they're technically easier than the ones we found back in the underground ruins. And then we have these guys. They're basically the same as the gargoyles we saw before, except they are always part of their element. So you can, in order to kill them, you have to use the opposite element. So right now they're both lightning, which is really convenient because the easiest element to use, obviously, is wind to get rid of lightning, because it only uses a little bit of ink, as opposed to, the inferno and rain that you have to do if they took their fire or ice forms. They will take fire or ice forms, like the gargoyles from before. They have all three elements. It's just that these ones never lose their elements, so you can only kill them with your brush skills. So, two new enemies there. You might want to go ahead and face them, add them to your not your inventory, but your list of enemies. Because we're getting close to the end of the game, we have to get the last bit of enemies here. And speaking of new enemies, we have these guys who are essentially the green imps. Now, I don't show them off in this video, but they're actually our red imp version of these. They're called they're clay soldiers and something else, but there's green and red versions, just like all the other enemies. And as usual, the red ones will have something to block your skills. Now, in order to get the brush skill, or get the reward from them, you actually have to, instead of using a power slash, you have to use a bomb, which is kind of awkward, because the bomb is really not the most accurate thing. So it ends up being a little weird trying to hit these guys with a bomb. But if you do, well, these green ones, they'll give only demon skins, unfortunately. But the red ones will show demon livers. I'll probably show a red one off next episode. I don't end up doing that in this episode, I believe, because I'm only sure of just showing off a few of these battles while I'm here. I'm not sure if any red ones are in this area, because there's some scrolls later on in Shinshu Field where they might show up. But I'm not gonna progress. I'm not gonna go over there in Shinshu Field, because if I do, a cutscene's gonna activate, a very important cutscene, and I don't want to activate it quite yet. Not until I do this. Well, I mean, I could, but you'll see why I don't want to do it when I show the cutscene off next episode. But I want to take care of this Nazo thing, because it's also important. And then, basically, I guess I'm going to go ahead and say this now. What I'm going to do in between this episode, once again, I'm doing useless praise grinding. I don't even know what I'm doing. But in between this episode and the next one, I'm going to do a little bit of grinding for demon livers, because as you see, we have access to warp now. So now that I have access to warp, I'm going to use said warp to go back to Yakushi Village, so I need to get enough demon livers to upgrade my glaive. Now, I think I'm only going to go for the glaive because, by the way, this scroll right here is my favorite spot to grind in the game for demon livers. I'll explain why in a little bit. These are spark beasts. They're basically flame based except lightning, so wind will be their weakness. Using wind normally will allow you to, will dispel their electric energy, allow you to hit them. And just like the flame beast, if you use wind while they're in the air, like such, just happen to work out that way, it also stun them. So they have the same wind weakness the flame beast has, so wind is even more potent against them because it'll also dispel their electric aura and let you hit them normally. Now, the best way, I think, to deal with them is, finally for once, actually using this hurricane skill, which we never really used ever. I mean, granted, we never used the thunderbolt one either. But, well, okay, there we go. It does knock them up in the air and stun them automatically. I'll show another version of this fight, and you'll see why it's so useful, because, doing this fight... Did I not get the demon livers? I did hit them, didn't I? Shoot! Kurow, don't use your music to hit them. You get 2 demon livers for them, if they drop it, so use your wind to end the fight to get 2 demon livers. It is wind, I just happened to screw that up, so maybe I'll show that off, I don't know. Well, I'm sure there'll be a Spark Beast fight in the future, so, and also I will show one off later in this episode, because I want to show the, sorry for the random sounds there, I just coughed. randomly. But basically, as I was saying, Spark Beast. There is a really easy way to fight them using that Hurricane, you know, the special brush skill. So make sure you do that. Also, I believe was that a masterpiece right there? I wasn't paying attention, but yeah, there is a masterpiece out in Shinshu Field, so make sure you grab that. There's also some treasures that you should get. There's a lucky coin, by the way, as well. So that's lucky coin number 7 out of 8. We'll be finding the 8th one actually pretty soon as well. There's also a couple dandelions. Like I said, they're just praise grinding that I don't need to do at this point because I'm weird. But yeah, basically, the Spark Beasts are a great source of demon livers. You get 2 of them, and it's really easy to beat them really fast with a Hurricane. And I'll try to show that off just so you can see how to grind appropriate for demon livers. I'll grind up to about 20-25. That'll be enough to get the best glaive in the game, so I can have that for the next area. And then through the next area, I should be able to get enough demon livers from the enemies there. Cause, you know, we're gonna start getting to a bunch of enemies that drop demon livers non-stop. So I should be able to hopefully get enough demon livers through the next area in order to get the other 2 remaining weapons. And then I'll upgrade them there. I should be able to get this. Basically, I'll have all 3 of them before the point of no return in the game, because there is a point of no return, you know, where you can't ever go back anywhere throughout the rest of the game. So I'll make sure, but I mean, there will actually be ways to buy your skills and your weapons there if you really need them. But I want to have all of them before I go to the end game. So basically, I'm gonna get the first one now, and then hopefully I'll get enough demon livers to the next area so I can get the other 2 just naturally. Else I'll do more grinding. So that's my plan for that. So expect me to do a little bit of off-screen grinding in between these episodes. Meanwhile, we're here in where Yakushi Village should be, and over here in this cave, we'll find some medicinal herbs, which we'll give to Nazo to heal his dog. We'll check up and see how well the dog is doing next episode as well, because I'm curious. I actually have never gone back and seen if the dog says anything different, so I'm kind of curious. So we'll go ahead, give that to him now, and we'll get something in return. Something that will be very key for the next part of this video, because unfortunately, as you can see, we're kind of running out of time. What I'm going to do is quickly fight a Spark Beast, show you the proper way to grind, and then I'll do my grinding, because if I go any further, like I said, I'll activate that cutscene I mentioned, and I don't quite want to do that right now, so we're not going to head over there quite yet. We're not going to head over the Moon Cave quite yet. The Moon Cave. The Moon Cave. We're not going to head over to the Moon Cave quite yet. We're going to do that next episode. But yeah, Nazo's all happy, and in return he gives us meat. This meat will be very key next episode, and you guys will see why soon enough. But like I said, I'm going to quickly show off a good proper way of doing this whole, this scroll right here of the Spark Beast. Of doing the Spark Beast properly to really quickly get Demon Scrolls. You can always reset it using the Truth Mirror, obviously. Just warp somewhere, warp back, and then the scroll will be reset so you can play them again. So very quick way to grind for Demon Livers if you need to. It's what I used my first playthrough. It's what I'll use for this one. But what we want to do is draw a Hurricane, and then just bring it next to him, and eventually it'll knock him up in the air, back off a little so make sure you can hit the ground and officially get stunned, and then just combo him, and you can pretty much take his entire health down almost, like as you can see, immediately. So just using a Hurricane and then one win to get the scroll, the Demon Livers, which I didn't get again. Really? But you can actually get that really fast. And about wasting your ink, you can get your ink back really fast just using the Truth Mirror. So there you go. Anyways, gonna be grinding off screen. For now, though, this is LuckySevenDX signing out. I will see you guys next time for more Okamiden, where we actually finally go to the Moon Cave again. Bye-bye.